Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball live here from Alumni Field. As I'm looking down into the stands in front of me, I see a fan with the logo on the back of his shirt saying, "No place like home." And Adam, I couldn't agree with that more. Back in Alumni Field for, at least for me, for the first time in a long while, and it is a beautiful day for some softball. Clear skies, 70 degrees. And we have a great Big Ten Conference matchup for you. Game 2 of a 3-game weekend set between the number 23 nationally ranked Michigan Wolverines and their arch rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the nicest day weather-wise in Ann Arbor of 2022 so far.
I don't think that's going out on a limb at all. I mean, it is beautiful. You literally could not ask for a better day for some softball. The Michigan baseball team also playing directly behind the center field wall over at Ray Fisher Stadium.
Not an empty seat in the stands, especially the outfield grandstands. Usually those are just sparsely filled, but today I can't even see a spot in the bleachers without someone filling it. And I look over at Ray Fisher, they have the overhang. Yesterday it was rainy and cloudy all game. The stands were completely empty except for under the overhang. It's a complete inverse today. The stands are filled except the overhang because people want to enjoy the sun while they can, especially after a long winter like it has been.
As the sun continues to shine and the fans continue to pack themselves into Alumni Field, we're going to give you the quick starting lineups for both teams. The home team in the Michigan Wolverines, left to right in the infield, is Taylor Bump at third, Ella Mcveigh at shortstop. Over at second base, it's the transfer student from Penn State, Molina Livingston. And on the right side of the infield in the other corner, it's Lexi Blair over at first base. Left to right in the outfield, it's Ellie Siegler in left. Christina Burkhart, the transfer student from UNC in center field. And rounding it out in the outfield is Audrey LeClaire. Behind the plate, like usual, in the spot she's made so famous, it's Hannah Carson. And in the circle, rounding things out for the Michigan Wolverines, the senior, Megan Beaubien.
Beaubien had a rough couple of starts coming into this one. She's going to look to maybe get back into groove against the rival Ohio State Buckeyes from the circle today.
Leading things off for Ohio State, it is going to be Molina Wilkerson. And tell you what, she had one heck of a game yesterday. 3 for 4 with a double and a home run. What a game for the freshman to start off the rivalry series. She's going to look to keep things going here. First pitch on the way from Beaubien. Corners playing up. First pitch, a called strike in the outside half, and Megan Beaubien out to an early lead.
Beaubien 2 weeks ago, we just had the PA announcer, I'm sure you could hear that, 73 degrees is the build temperature. But last week, Beaubien had a rough early start.
Beaubien gets Wilkerson to hit the changeup right back at her for a ground ball. And that's out number 1. Michigan will throw it around. And now 1 up and 1 down for the Maize and Blue.
Exactly the start Michigan wants. Michigan pitchers really excel when they control the pace, and we've seen that both from Storako and Beaubien. If they keep the tempo of the game in their favor, keep things moving, that's how they avoid some of the pitfalls that they faced earlier this season.
Up second, it's going to be Tegan Cortillius, left-handed slapper. She dribbles the first one foul down the third base line. Cortillius hitting .375 on the season and 32 at-bats. And you know she's got the wheels to fly around the base pass. 8 stolen bases on the season for the Buckeyes. Junior went 1 for 2 with an RBI single yesterday. Again, looking to get things started here for the Buckeyes. 0-1 pitch from Beaubien, swung on and missed. Infield playing up, outfield as well. Well in front of the warning track, and the fans continue to pile into Alumni Field. I haven't seen it this full in a long time.
Yeah, definitely the busiest it's been all season. The beautiful weather, I'm sure, is a huge factor.
Beaubien shakes off 3 signs, so Cortillius is going to quick call time and reset. Wind picking up a little bit, blowing out towards center field. Could help Cortillius here. She does lack a bit of power. 0-2 delivery on the way from Megan Beaubien. This one on the outside corner, just missing outside. The Maize and Blue faithful wanted that call. You could hear them emphatically disagreeing.
We have a rough angle being kind of from the side up in the press box, but that looked pretty good to me.
Beaubien still out in front. The 1-2 delivery way above the head of Cortillius, but she somehow puts it in play down the left-hand side, but it will go foul. That one, again, was way above her head and kind of outside. Took an awkward hack at it.
This is going to be a real test of endurance for Beaubien in these long at-bats. Is she able to finally end with a out?
We're going to do the 1-2 again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out to Cortillius. Hit down the third baseline again. Bump, sliding underneath, fires to first base. And a great play from the senior over there in the hot corner. And that's 2 up and 2 down. Taylor Bump has showed all season long that she has been rock solid defensively over there in the hot corner. We saw it very early in the season in Tampa. We saw flashes of her diving, making all sorts of spectacular plays, and that defensive excellence has not gone away as the season has progressed. First pitch to the 3-hitter Hockenbrack is a changeup called just below the knees for ball number 1.
Hockenbrack leads the team in batting average with a .378 coming in today's game.
Beaubien's 1-0 delivery is waved on, just absolutely blew it by her.
Hockenbrack swinging for the fences on that one, unable to connect. She does have 12 home runs on the season, so big power hitter in the 3 spot for the Buckeyes today.
Lefty on, righty matchup. Beaubien's 1-1 pitch, another changeup. This one popped up foul over towards the BTN Plus cameras behind home plate.
This game is on BTN Plus, so we appreciate you tuning into us this afternoon.
Also, if you're interested in hearing some more WCBN sports coverage, head on over to our main channel, WCBN Sports, to hear coverage of Michigan baseball. That game, of course, still going on right now. Beaubien's 1-2 delivery with 2 outs. This one fouled off again. We'll do it once more.
These long at-bats have been tough for Beaubien all season, just being unable to finish. But so far, she's doing the job, especially on that last one, able to get the out on the dribbler to third.
Beaubien, 80 strikeouts on the season, looking to make it 81 here. The 1-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. And Beaubien sits her down. That's a perfect inning for number 10. And the Maize and Blue going to go out on the offensive end.
That's the start Michigan wants to see, especially coming off yesterday, falling down 1-0 in the first. Able to get scoreless in the top frame is huge for Michigan to even up this series.
As you mentioned, Michigan currently down 1-0 in this 3-game weekend set. Ohio State won yesterday by a score of 6-2. Again, Wilkerson leading the way, 3 for 4 with a double and an RBI. That RBI coming on a solo home run. For Michigan, the batting order is going to be Burkhart leading off, Lexi Blair hitting second, Molina Livingston in the 3-hole. Batting cleanup, it's going to be Hannah Carson. Hitting 5th, Taylor Bump. 6th, Ellie Siegler. Batting 7th will be Audrey LeClaire. Batting 8th will be Ella Mcveigh. And rounding things out for the Michigan Wolverines in the 9 spot, it will be Annabelle Wedra. In terms of the Buckeyes on the defensive end, it'll be Bump at third, Corticrax at short, Farley at second, Carver at first. And then in the outfield, left to right, it'll be Cordelletti in left, Oddie in center, and Wilkerson in right field. Pack behind the plate. And it'll be Hanley in the circle to start things off. An interesting uniform matchup today. Michigan in their coveted all blue with the maize piping down the side of the pants and the maize numbers. Ohio State in what had potential to be a very solid uniform. OSU in the all white, but the lettering and the numbers on the back of the jerseys are white on white jerseys, just outlined with a red piping, making it a little bit hard to see from up here.
Yeah, you have to have 20/20 vision just to make out those numbers.
First pitch to Christina Burkhart is a rise ball way high and outside for ball number 1. When you talk about key pickups for this Michigan team, I mean, how can you not bring up Christina Burkhart's name? in that. The graduate transfer from UNC, as she swings on this one and hits a line drive through the infield, and she's going to be down for an easy stand-up single.
Huge for Burkhart coming off yesterday, able to get that leadoff hit. The first base coach is very happy about that too.
Right as I was saying how great of a pickup she was, knocks a single through the infield to get things started for Michigan. Back to what I was saying, though. The graduate transfer from UNC, a second-team All-ACC selection last year, and then she comes here to the Big Ten and just continues to produce, batting .399 for the Michigan Wolverines coming into this game. So with Burkhart on first, that will bring up Lexi Blair. Blair hitting .315 this season with 13 RBIs. First pitch to the senior just below the knees for ball number 1. Deep breath in the windup. This one above Blair's head for strike number 1. Throw down to second base, and just getting in time is Christina Burkhart. It was a nice throw from Pack, but an even better slide from Burkhart, sliding to the outside of the bag and tagging it with the left hand.
That was a risky play, but we've seen Burkhart steal all season. 12 attempts, successful in 9 of them. Nice risk by Hutchins with the leadoff base runner, able to get her into scoring position.
It's a 1-1 count now for Blair. That one high and outside. Blair showed bunt for a second, but it'll be called ball 2. The count now sits at 2-1 after Blair swung on that last pitch above her head to protect the runner on the Christina Burkhart steal. Swings at another one above her head. Great pitch by Hanley, getting her to chase the rise ball, and now we're evened out at 2-2. Wind starting to blow out towards right field, which bodes well for Lexi Blair. Blair 2 home runs on the season. 2-2 pitch up at her eyes, and now we're going full. I mean, you just talk about legacy players at Michigan. Lexi Blair has to be up at the top of that list. Full count pitch to Blair is popped up. If it stays in play, the catcher has a chance at it and makes his way over to the net. Looked like it might have hit a fan.
Yeah, no one even moved out of the way, and I think just barely missed him.
It came down real close in between them, though.
Yeah. Crowd is fired up today. Only about a dozen or so OSU fans.
Lexi Blair rung out on a pitch at what looked like below her knees. You don't see Lexi Blair strike out much, and you definitely don't see her strike out looking practically ever. That one, a very uncharacteristic play from the senior.
Almost always goes home swinging if she does go home. It's tough with a full count. You expect maybe a free trip to first. It might inhibit some of those tendencies to swing.
Following the strikeout, it'll be 1 out with the runner still in scoring position. That'll bring up Molina Livingston. Burkhart getting a comfortable secondary lead over there. Both players, graduate transfer students, both with potential to make an impact here. Second pitch to Livingston is popped up our way, and it'll make its way into the stands, where a fan makes a nice catch this time instead of letting it bounce off his head. And he'll toss it down to an event staff member.
That's the difference between baseball and softball. At Fisher, they let the fans keep the foul balls. Not here at Alumni.
1-1 pitch on the way to Livingston. That one called strike on the lower outside corner, so we're starting to see the zone kind of establish itself here through the tail end of the first inning. Players are going to have to get aggressive low and away in the zone. The 1-2 from Hanley. This one swung on and missed, her second state strikeout.
The scoreboard said 3 outs there for a moment, had to momentarily adjust, but 2 outs and 2 Ks for Hanley in the circle. She's getting the team to whiff with her fastball.
That will bring up Hannah Carson back in that left-hand side. Strike 1, again on the lower outside half. This one just the opposite side of the plate. After a 6-2 loss in the game yesterday, Michigan is going to really look to not leave any more runners in scoring position. That one to Hannah Carson high and outside for ball number 1.
It's been a struggle all season, just leaving runners on base, unable to bring them in. The offense is there, just not in the key moments.
Carson hitting .306 this season, hitting .444 with runners in scoring position. Takes a big hack at the 1-1 and comes up empty. And now she's down in a 1-2 hole. Hanley looking for her 3rd consecutive strikeout. Wind is shifted to pretty much dead away center, directly aiming at Ray Fisher Stadium. The 1-2 pitch to Hannah Carson. This one popped up in the left center gap, covering a lot of ground to get over to it is the center fielder, Adi, and that's going to retire the side. Both teams go scoreless in the first, and that'll bring us to the top of the 2nd inning, where Megan Bobian will take the circle once more, and she's got 4, 5, 6 due up. Carver, bump, and quarter cracks.
From the crack of the bat, it looked like that might be able to find some AstroTurf in the grass, just unable to land. And that was huge for the Buckeyes to get out of that jam, because that almost certainly would have given up a run.
Megan Bobian goes out and takes her place in the circle. Retired the side in the top of the first. Got a nice hard line drive right back at her for out number 1. Taylor Bump made a great play in the hot corner for out number 2. And then Megan Bobian did it all herself, striking out the 3-hitter Hockenbrock for out number 3. I just can't get over how beautiful the weather is today. I mean,
I know.
The PA announcer said it right at the start, 73 degrees at the start of the game. I mean, there is not a cloud in the sky.
And for those who have never been to Alumni Field, you get a beautiful view of all the campus. You get to see the historic intramural sports building in the distance. Beyond that, the law school and Weil Hall and the clock tower and the Union. You get to see everything from here. Then you crane your neck and you get to see the big house in Chrysler. So you're pretty much in the middle of it all. Yost looming over the right field fence.
Bobian wasting no time getting started here in the top of the 2nd. First pitch is a changeup fouled back into the mid of Hannah Carson off the bat of the 4-hitter Nikki Carver. Carver, a .315 hitter this season in her senior campaign with the Buckeyes. Has a lot of weight on that back right leg. 0-1 pitch, another changeup swung on and missed. Bobian just kind of has her guessing at this thing.
Bobian looks like she's found the zone so far after some struggles.
Up in a comfortable 0-2 position. Bobian shakes off the first, now delivers. This one popped up our way and off the net in front of us.
We were talking before the broadcast what it would take for a ball to come over into the press box, and it would have to be something like that.
That one kind of had the awkward trajectory where if it did make it over, it could have made its way to us.
Very tight, narrow window between the netting and the overhang.
Bobian with the 0-2 again. This one a changeup that bounces well in front of home plate. Nice stop by Hannah Carson to keep it in front. Wind has died down a little bit, but Nikki Carver doesn't really need it. 10 home runs on the season. You know she's got power in that cleanup spot. The 1-2 pitch fouled off again.
Bobian already racking up the pitch count. Coming into this inning, she had 12 and already has another 5 this at bat.
Checks the wristband, spinning the ball in the left hand. Now goes to the windup. The 1-2 from Bobian. This one popped up foul again, covering a lot of ground to try to get over to it is Lexi Blair, but just outreaching her glove. We'll do the 1-2 once more.
Looks like we have some little leagues out in the bleachers coming to watch the collegiate squad wearing their team uniforms. It's always fun.
That's got to be so much fun to have an incredible program like Michigan so close. Beaubien's 1-2 delivery, popped up foul again. Carver doing a great job fighting off pitches, waiting for the one she wants.
That's a 4th foul ball this at bat alone. And she only has 1 ball, too, so this could go on even further.
Outfield playing about 2 or 3 steps in from the warning track. Beaubien's 1-2 delivery, changeup. Fouled off, but it'll just hit the net. Looked like she almost had Carver on that one. She had all of her weight on the front foot and just kind of threw her hands at it. Barely able to make contact.
That's the difference between Storako and Beaubien. Storako has the put-em-out pitch. She doesn't get into these big jams. Sometimes the opponent finds a crack at it and sends it into orbit. But more often than not, she's able to get these Ks.
Beaubien's 1-2 hit on a line towards left field, fielding off the one hop and keeping it in front of her. On a nice play is Ellie Siegler. That ball had 2 written all over it off the bat, but Siegler took a great angle at it, and she'll keep Carver over at first base.
Good discipline from Siegler. A lot of outfielders might try and go straight for the ball to maybe get the diving catch or the extended arm catch. Siegler didn't bite the apple, took an extended route to cut it off perfectly and hold it to just a 1-bagger.
That'll bring up Mackenzie Bump. The lefty sophomore puts down a bunt. Bump fields it cleanly and fires over to first base. So the bump-to-bump bunt results in an out, but the Buckeyes move a runner into scoring position. It'll be Carver over on second base with only 1 out now. Following the sack bunt, that will bring up Cami Corticrax. The shortstop, Corticrax, a 300 hitter on the season. Got 14 RBIs to her name. First pitch to her is a changeup that just floats beautifully into the zone. You could see from up here that Corticrax had no shot at that one. Just was caught completely off guard. Picked up the back foot as the ball was coming in. Beaubien checking the wristband once more. Now will deliver the 0-1 pitch. 1 out. This one a changeup again, but floats high in the zone for ball number 1.
A changeup, if it were an inch or 2 lower, that would have been a beautiful strike. Just unable to land it in the zone.
Beaubien taking her time, walks to the back of the circle, and now will reset. 1-1 pitch on the way. 1 out, 1 runner on second base. This one blown by Corticrax for strike number 2. Changing speeds is something that Megan Beaubien just does so incredibly well. Her changeup, we talk about it so much. It's so precise, but then she does have the velocity to just blow it by you. 1-2 pitch from Beaubien. This one hit on the ground towards Livingston, and that's going to be enough to get Corticrax at first base, but a productive out. The runner now over on third base.
Huge to get the out there. Takes away the sac fly potential, but still not great to have the runner advance.
Following the Corticrax ground out, that will bring up the center fielder, Adi. Infield playing up. Adi standing tall in that left-handed batter's box. First pitch her way, hit on the ground, up the middle, and that one's going to get through. 1 run across the board for the Buckeyes as Maggie Adi puts one just past the outstretched hand of Megan Beaubien.
Perfectly placed. Slightly to the left or right, either Beaubien or Mcveigh or even Livingston may have gotten to it.
Unlucky break there from Megan Beaubien. Got the pitch she wanted, got him to put it on the ground, just somehow barely made it past the hand of her outstretched glove. That'll put 1 on the board for Ohio State. I know they've got 2 outs, and the runner now on first base. First pitch laid down. Beaubien going to make a tough play, fired over to first, and beating it out is Peck.
That's gutsy to bunt for a hit with 2 outs, but it paid off for the Buckeyes there. Caught Michigan sleeping. Bump and Blair were both playing back, and Beaubien had to fend for it herself.
Veteran read there by the junior Taylor Pack. As you mentioned, Bump was playing well behind third base. She recognizes the situation, puts down a nice little bunt for a hit with 2 outs.
A little bit of a mound visit here just between the players. No coaches come in. Get Beaubien.
As you hear the Let's Go Blue chants getting loud here in Alumni. The fans have not only packed out the stadium, but they are emphatic right now. Looks like we have a pinch hitting substitution already. Give you the stats as quickly as we can. Looks like it is going to be number 55, Caitlin Kaufman, who will come in to hit in place of Caitlin Farley.
It sure would be nice if their uniforms were easier to read.
First pitch to Kaufman, hit hard on a line. That one's going to get through the infield. Coming up and making a nice play to keep the runners at third is Ellie Siegler.
OSU recognizes they need to get runs and get runs early. So even though it's the first time around the lineup, they were unafraid to make a pinch hitting change, and it paid off beautifully for them.
Jen Brundage will come out and have a quick mound visit as there's 2 outs and the bases loaded for Megan Beaubien. Ella Mcveigh put her body on the line to try to get that one laid out deep in the hole at shortstop, but just couldn't quite get a glove on it. Ohio State's just been able to find the holes early. But we mentioned the great read that Ellie Siegler took to that ball in the left center gap to keep Carver back at first base on her original line drive to that area. And then another great play in left field there. Coming up, do or die that keeps the runner honest at third base and keeps the Buckeyes still only to 1 run here in the top of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, that was a huge cutoff from Siegler. Already made a couple of run-saving plays in this game.
Bases loaded. First pitch is a changeup that bounces in the dirt. Great stop by Hannah Carson to keep the runner at third. So it's the freshman Wilkerson up at the plate for the 2nd time today. Grounded out back to Beaubien in the 1st inning, but we mentioned before she was red hot yesterday. 3 for 4 with a double and a home run. The 1-0 pitch fouled off. Both sets of fans happy with that one.
Yeah.
OSU fans happy that Wilkerson made a piece of contact on a solid swing. Michigan happy to even out the count at 1-1. As the sun continues to shine here, 2 outs, bases loaded as Beaubien and Wilkerson battling at the plate. Pitch number 3 is outside, and that'll extend the count to 2-1. The good thing here for Michigan is all you need is 1 out. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Beaubien delivering on 2-1. Changeup popped up. This one towards left field. Siegler trying to find it in the sun and catching it at the warning track.
Siegler showing her defensive chops, saving a run on the play before and then making the 3rd out to hold Ohio State to only 1 run in the top of the 2nd with bases loaded, 3 runners left on, and 4 hits in that inning.
You know, on a day where it wasn't as sunny, that one is just a routine fly ball, but a more impressive play than it seems from Ellie Siegler. Opened up the hips to get back and just get situated so she could focus on just finding the ball with the sun beating down into her eyes. Blocks the sun with the glove and able to keep OSU to just 1 in the top of the 2nd inning.
And Michigan's lucky the wind wasn't blowing that way because she did catch it with a foot on the warning track. Favorable wind for Ohio State would have pushed the ball well out into the beyond the fence.
You saw as soon as Wilkerson popped that one up towards left, the entire Ohio State bench jumped up to the fence.
Yeah.
But again, a great play and a great defensive outing there in that 2nd inning from Ellie Siegler to keep the Buckeyes to just 1. For Michigan, they've got Bump, being followed by Ella Mcveigh and Annabelle Weidra to round things out before heading back to Christina Burkhart at the top of the order. In the circle, it's still Lexi Hanley. Had an impressive first inning, 2 strikeouts, only giving up that line drive single to Christina Burkhart. And as it flashes up there on the board, today was senior day for Lexi Blair, Alex Storacco, and Taylor Bump. We can discuss more between innings as we're just about set to go, but those 3 have just been huge, huge pieces to this Michigan program for the last 4 or 5 years throughout their tenure.
Yeah, with the relaxing of the COVID eligibility requirements in college, we've seen players go 5 years. Curious to see if any of those seniors might come back.
And we are underway here in the bottom of the second inning. Hanley's first pitch, a rise ball up near the eyes of Taylor Bump, so she lets that one go by safely. Bump, 3 home runs on the year. You know she's got the power. The wind has all but died down for her, though. She'll have a hitter's count when she steps back in as the second straight rise ball misses. It'll be a 2-0 count. Hanley's 2-0 delivery. Again up near the eyes of Taylor Bump. And that's 3 straight pitches missing well up in the zone.
Huge for Michigan to start off this inning with Hanley a little bit unsettled. Bump having a pretty solid day yesterday with that home run, despite going 1 for 3. Made it count, tying it up in the 4th inning. Eventually unable to secure that lead, losing 6-2.
Hanley's 3-0 pitch missing upstairs again, so Taylor Bump with a pretty relaxing at-bat. Watches 4 straight pitches go by, and that'll put a run around with no outs, and Ellie Siegler to step up to the plate. Hanley taking her time, wiping off the hands. We look quick over to Ray Fisher Stadium, give you a quick instance of what's going on there. As I was about to say, the score is 2-1 in favor of Ohio State, but Michigan just puts one across the board to tie it up 2-2. First pitch to Siegler, again above the eyes. Hanley now has missed 5 straight pitches upstairs.
Siegler showed bunt for a moment there, but doesn't always indicate any intention, especially from left-handers in college.
Corners playing up. This one missing low in the zone, so Hanley finally gets the ball down, but still unable to find the strike zone. 6 straight balls from Hanley. 2-0 hitters count for Ellie Siegler with a run around base in Taylor Bump. 2-0 pitch. That one just catching the outside corner.
That's going to be the first strike of the inning thrown by Hanley after the 4-pitch walk to lead off the bottom of the second.
The freshman Siegler looking to translate some of that defensive success into offensive success here as she waves at the 2-1 pitch. And now the count's evened out 2-2. Audrey LeClaire looking on from on deck. It'll be this one hit in the gap towards left center field. That one into the glove of the left fielder, Wilkerson. An awkward play. Wilkerson and Adi almost ran into each other. Ellie Siegler put a good piece of contact on it.
That shows you why you need good communication. Fortunately, they didn't collide. But oftentimes in those plays, especially when it's in the gap, both players think it's their jurisdiction, and it's able to hit the dirt. Probably, I think both of them would have been in position to make the play, but it doesn't always work out like that. Puts one out on the board.
First pitch to LeClaire, misses low for ball number 1. Following LeClaire in that left-handed batter's box, it'll be 4 straight lefties after her. Hanley's 1-0 pitch upstairs. They're going to appeal down to first base on the check swing, but yeah, Audrey LeClaire at least from our angle, didn't seem like she went at all. So now this is the third straight at-bat for Hanley this inning, which has started off 2-0. Make it 3-0 as this one misses down by the angles. Hanley, after looking like she had all things going right for her in inning number 1, struggling to find the zone here in the second. Ella Mcveigh looking on from on deck. And that, that one, a questionable call.
She was halfway to first by the time he called strike. Got Coach Hutchins coming in to discuss with the home plate umpire.
I mean, the zone had been pretty much consistent all game long until that call. You almost think it might have been a case of the home plate umpire was a little upset that Audrey LeClaire started heading down to first base before he made the call.
That's exactly what I was thinking. First strike of the at-bat.
And now that'll be strike number 2 as Hanley catches the outside corner, and this could be an unfortunate swing for Michigan.
Yeah, to go from 1 out, 2 on to 2 outs, 1 on is huge.
Full count pitch. Popped up foul. Nice grab by a fan there.
In softball, the fans are always ready to make those foul ball grabs. Rarely see them caught off guard like you see at Fisher.
As it flashes up there on the board, softball bingo, a fan catches a foul ball.
That's happened a couple of times now.
Full count pitch, dribbled up the middle, awkward play at second base. And they're going to say Taylor Bump is out. It was an awkward play. Taylor Bump is going to stay on second base, and they're going to walk down there. And it almost looked like they were going to walk down and appeal at second base. It was an awkward play. Quartercracks had to kind of fall over on her left-hand side to field the ball, but she landed right in front of second base. Bump didn't really even have a shot at the bag.
Yeah, sure if they're going to call obstruction, but I don't think it'll change any hearts or minds, especially with that second base umpire.
So an awkward, unfortunate swing of events for Michigan. They had a 3-0 count with 1 out and Taylor Bump at first base. A pitch that was high and outside, at least from this angle, that pretty much everyone in the stadium thought was ball 4. Home plate umpire calls it a strike, and then next thing you know, count goes full. Audrey LeClaire hits a ball up the middle, and now it's 2 outs with LeClaire on first instead of 1 out with runners on second and first. First pitch to the freshman Ella Mcveigh was swung on and missed, so she'll be down in an 0-1 count here.
McVeigh's been dominant fielding-wise this season.
Mcveigh puts one down the line. It's going to ricochet off the glove with a third baseman bump, and she's going to reach first safely. Nice piece of contact there by the freshman, and that'll bring up the bottom of the order in Annabelle Wedra with runners on first and second.
You say the bottom of the order like it's a bad thing, but Wedra having a solid .295 batting average for the freshman, including some big hits. 23 hits on the season and 7 RBIs.
And Michigan could use one of those now. Good speed on the bases. A single could definitely score 1, if not 2. First pitch to Wedra popped up, and this one is going to stay in play in the infield. Struggling to find it, and finally making the grab is Carver.
You mentioned the sun at the end of the top of the second, but it's still out there in the bottom. No clouds. Guess one cloud just moved on in, but it's very lofty. And that'll barely hang on to it for the third out is Carver.
An unfortunate swing of events for Michigan. They looked like they were going to have 2 runners on with 1 out, and the next thing you know, we're headed to the top of the third inning, and Michigan leaves runners stranded. Coach Carol Hutchins made sure to let home plate umpire Cameron Bornstad know what she thought of that call on the questionable ball 4 turn strike 1.
Yeah, and it wasn't just Coach Hutchins who was confused by that call. The whole crowd erupted in like a unified humph when that was ruled a strike. The batter was halfway down the base path. At that, I think it's just kind of vindictive almost, setting his dominance as home plate umpire.
Yeah, it was definitely a late call. But as we head to the top of the third inning, I would just like to take a quick moment to thank you all for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball here on WCBN Sports 2, our second channel. If you want to check out some Michigan baseball coverage from us, head on over to our main channel, WCBN Sports. We've got a crew over there directly across the way at Ray Fisher Stadium. But this series is not the end of our coverage this year. We've got one more home series against Minnesota, and then I will be in East Lansing for the Big Ten tournament for hopefully all 3 days, as Michigan will look to make a campaign there. They've struggled a bit in the Big Ten this season. They're currently 7-7 in conference, but an impressive tournament run could bode well for their postseason activities. First pitch of the inning is outside to Tegan Cortillius. She dribbles it down the third baseline, and Taylor Bump right there to make the play.
That was Cortillius' second at-bat of the game. Had a ground out in the first as well.
An efficient start to the third inning for Beaubien, 1 pitch and 1 out, and now she will deliver to Sam Hockenbrack. First pitch, a changeup that bounces off home plate for ball number 1. Beaubien did a great job to keep her composure in the top of the second inning. She had bases loaded. Ohio State was knocking on the door, but able to keep the Buckeyes to just 1. Pitch number 2 to Hockenbrack. Looked like it was right down Broadway, but it's called ball number 2. And the Michigan coaching staff immediately up out of the dugout, voicing their opinion.
Yeah, especially after what transpired in the bottom of the second, to have that call go the other way now.
2-0 hitter's pitch for Hockenbrack. This one dribbled softly down the third baseline, and Taylor Bump is solid as they come over at third. Makes the nice play for out number 2.
Bump is such a huge asset to have in the hot corner. Very few balls are able to get to her without having time to gun them out to first base, especially with her strong arm.
Bump throughout her career is kind of bounced around in the infield between first and third, but this year has really just established herself as a defensive rock over there at third base. With 2 outs, first pitch to Nikki Carver is called a strike at the knees. Carver was the one who got things going.
Checking over at Fisher, they got bases loaded. Getting a preview of what's going on there for Michigan.
Deep breath from Beaubien, and now the 0-1. This one, a changeup left high in the zone. Carver is going to punish this one to center field. It's going to be a close play at second. The throw comes in, and that one's going to be a double.
Almost got a hand on it with Siegler, just perfectly placed on the warning track. It looked like for a moment it might bounce up and over for a ground rule double, but I guess the result's the same anyway. And the throw is a little bit offline, so clearly safe.
That ball bounces a little bit lower. It might have been a different play for Siegler in left field, but just kind of an awkward bounce, as you mentioned, bounced up off the yellow portion of the wall, just inches away from being a ground rule double. But now Nikki Carver having a day, 2 for 2 to start things off. With 2 outs, first pitch to Mackenzie Bump as a changeup on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Great pitch there from Beaubien, just going right back to her.
Got the Ohio State dugout singing Pump It Up. A little bit ironic coming from them. But I guess they are winning, so they have the right to sing it.
I don't know, you don't want to poke the bear.
Yeah, that song notably came famous when Michigan beat Ohio State in football last November.
1-1 delivery from Beaubien gets her to chase upstairs on the rise ball. That one was well above the eyes of Mackenzie Bump. 1-2 count. When Bump steps back in, Beaubien looking over, nodding yes to the first sign that comes in from the dugout. The 1-2 delivery, 2 outs, a runner in scoring position. This one popped up softly in the air, and that one is going to find its way into the glove of Taylor Bump. Bump making all 3 plays that inning.
A hit from Mackenzie Bump over to Taylor Bump to get that 3rd out, showing her skill at third base. Why she's been there for most of the season. Score update from the other side of the field. We have Michigan leading 6-2 against Ohio State after a comeback win yesterday in extra innings, looking to win the series. Ohio State hasn't won a series in Ann Arbor in baseball in almost 15 years. It's been a while. They've tied some series, especially with like 4-game series they have, but never an outright win or I guess never in a long time. Michigan baseball looking to maybe make a late season push at this baseball tournament crown, the regular season title for the Big Ten. For softball, I think that's a little bit out of play for them because the softball season doesn't extend as long, so it's not quite as many opportunities as baseball will have to erase some of that standing deficit.
Should we mention that 6-2 lead coming off a grand slam?
I was going to look it up
Stewart,
because I saw bases were loaded, and now I see bases are empty. Usually that means something or another. But Joe Stewart has been phenomenal, the transfer student from Michigan State.
Pack throws it down to second base, warm-ups end, and we are set to go. Here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, it's going to be Christina Burkhart up first. Had a line drive single in her first time up. The batting average now over 400. And just look at those stats up there on the board for Burkhart. 403 batting average, 25 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. I mean, what a year she has had. Tossed in 17 doubles and 5 triples. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better production.
Oh, absolutely not. A huge production from the grad student.
After fouling off the 0-1 pitch, she's down in an 0-2 hole. Hanley's delivering the advantage. This one a rise ball upstairs, but Burkhart fouls it off. We'll do that one again. Fans still somehow trickling in here to Alumni Field. I don't know how many more open seats there are for people to fill in.
Yeah, I see a couple right behind home plate, but I think those are like the reserve seating.
0-2 to Burkhart, hit hard on the ground towards second base. Making a nice play is Rodriguez, and that's going to be out number 1. Nice piece of contact from Burkhart, but just unable to find the gap. That will bring up Lexi Blair. Blair in her first time up uncharacteristically struck out looking on a pitch, which at least from up here looked to be below her knees. Corners playing up for Blair. First pitch well in the dirt and skipping up into the glove of Pack.
Lexi Blair 0 for 1 today. Strikeout looking a little bit uncharacteristic for her to go down that way.
The 1-0 way above her head. Pack has to jump up to keep it from hitting the backstop. Blair will have a 2-0 count when she steps back in. We mentioned Michigan not quite done with their Big Ten schedule. They've got this one and then one more tomorrow against the Buckeyes. A home series next weekend as Blair fouls off the 2-0. Home series next weekend against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and then weekend after that they'll head to Madison, Wisconsin to face off against the Wisconsin Badgers for their last series of the year before heading to the Big Ten tournament on May 12th.
You never know, with a run in the Big Ten tournament, College World Series might be in play.
Bump fouls off the second straight pitch, this one arcing towards the left field wall before hitting the fence. We will have coverage of both the Minnesota series, and as I mentioned earlier, I will be making the trip out to East Lansing for the Big Ten tournament, so make sure to stay tuned to WCBN Sports on YouTube for coverage of those games, and while you're at it, make sure to follow our Twitter and Instagram. 2-2 to Blair, fouled off again.
At the moment, Michigan stands at 8th in the Big Ten at 7-7 in conference record. Very different from where they're usually at. They have 3 straight Big Ten regular season titles, 2018, 2019, 2021, with the 2020 season being canceled.
Blair fouling off the 4th straight pitch. And we mentioned the uncharacteristic strikeout from Lexi Blair. It's because she does things like this. She'll just foul off pitch after pitch after pitch, force long at-bats until she gets something she wants, or the pitcher just gets tired of her and says, all right, I'll walk you. Go down to first base. I'm done with you. 2-2 pitch to Blair, fouled off again. This one has potential to stay in play. Pack running over to it and making a nice play before running into the wall for out number 2.
Getting down onto her knees, but hanging on the second time today.
Unfortunate break for Lexi Blair. Was making some solid contact. Just couldn't put it between the foul lines. Excuse me. 2 outs. That'll bring up the transfer student from Penn State, Molina Livingston, trying to get things going. Struck out swinging in her first time up. First pitch her way, fouled back over our heads for strike number 1. Outfield and infield playing pretty much regular depth.
Guess infield's playing a little bit further back the middle from Livingston.
0-1 pitch to Livingston, hit right back up the middle to Hanley, who tosses it lightly over to first base for 3 up and 3 down. We're going to head to the top of the 4th inning. The score here in Ann Arbor still 1-0 in favor of Ohio State.
Michigan's going to need to get that offense alive if they want a chance at evening up the series. So far in offense, they've just been very quiet. Only 2 hits and leaving runners on second in 2 straight innings, too.
Yeah, you mentioned evening up the series. We've mentioned it a few times, but this one, the second game of a 3-game weekend set. The Buckeyes took game number 1 yesterday by a score of 6-2. The Wolverines looking for revenge here.
We got a fun race in the outfield, and one of the fans participating completely tripped.
Yeah, she hit the deck hard.
Yeah, that could hurt too, because it's like AstroTurf and you get like rug burn or whatever.
This guy on the second hand of the relay is going to have all sorts of catching up to do. There's no way he's going to be able to make it there in time.
He needs better endurance. Run on the track. He burnt out way too quickly.
We need, what's his name? The Freeze.
The Freeze, I love him.
Freeze.
He was a college runner at, I think, Georgia State. One of the schools in Georgia. And then the Braves saw him run, and it's like, we'll hire you. And he just beats all these cocky fans who think they could beat the Freeze, but you can't.
Yeah, for all of you at home who have no idea what Adam and I are talking about, the Atlanta Braves have, it's just like whatever, between inning entertainment where they have a race between a fan and this guy on their payroll, the Freeze.
It's hilarious.
First pitch at the top of the 4th inning, misses low and outside to Cami Quartercracks. But the Freeze gives whoever runs this big old lead. They get basically to center field, and then he takes off and just burns them.
He ran 200 and 400, which is about the distance between the foul poles, so it makes sense.
Beaubien finds the zone on pitch number 2 to even things out 1-1. Quartercracks in her last time up grounded out to second base. That one coming in the top of the 2nd inning. Beaubien's 1-1 delivery, a changeup. She goes down to get it, pops it up towards left field. What a play in left field! Ellie Siegler coming out of nowhere, diving in foul territory and flashing the leather for out number 1.
Huge catch to in foul territory, so it would have been a strike, but the crowd gives her plenty of love after she gets up, shake it up a little bit, but able to hang on to the yellow softball.
Siegler tracked that one as best as I've ever seen. As soon as it came off of the bat, took off, like a bullet towards the foul line. Diving catch to make the play.
And that gets the crowd fired up, too. They haven't had a ton to cheer about the past couple of innings, but that's one of them.
Following the incredible highlight reel catch from the freshman, it'll be Meg Oddie due up, and she pops up on the first pitch to center field. This one to Christina Burkhart. She covered a lot of ground to get there, but that play not quite as impressive as the web gem from Ellie Siegler in left.
Two quick flyouts here in the top of the fourth, and this game is moving right along.
This one a great inning to keep Beaubien's pitch count down, floating it just under 50. First pitch to Taylor Pack, a ball high and outside, well above her eyes. Pack in her first and only time up back in the second inning. Singled but was left stranded on second base. Beaubien with the windup, and now the 1-0 delivery. This one hit high and in the air towards the right center gap, but coming over to make the play on the run is Christina Burkhart.
Three flyouts all to the outfield, but tracking it down easily. Michigan's Stellar Cass able to get out of the top of the fourth quickly without surrendering any runs, hits, or base runners.
That is a 5-pitch inning for Megan Beaubien.
Okay, softball bingo fans following along from home, we could officially check off Coach Hutchins wearing sunglasses. She has brought them out on this beautiful day.
I still can't get over just how beautiful the weather is today. I mean,
know. I'm going to just spend all afternoon outside after this game ends, after the broadcast wraps up.
Absolutely. Like, you just can't waste a day like this.
Oh, no, especially in Michigan after this winter. It snowed 4 inches on Monday, and now it's going to be close to 85 this evening. That shouldn't be scientifically possible.
I mean, it was pouring all night last night.
Yeah, it was cats and dogs. And even yesterday afternoon, it was like 40 degrees. So it increased 45 degrees in the span of 24 hours.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
Oh, me neither.
High for today is 80. It's 77 right now. It's supposed to get up to 79 and 80 at 4 and 5 o'clock. So pretty much just when this game is wrapping up. But I mean, I just can't get over it. This is better weather than we had in Tampa earlier this season.
I know. Well, granted, that was February.
Granted, it was February, but still.
It's Tampa.
Also, granted, it was Tampa. So we are set to go here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's going to be 4-5-6. Hannah Carson, Taylor Bump, and Ellie Siegler, the first three due up for Michigan. First pitch to Carson. She chases upstairs for strike number 1. Carson, a .305 hitter this season. Looking to get things going for the Maize and Blue. Taylor Bump looking over from the on-deck circle. Second pitch to Carson. A changeup on the lower half of the zone for strike number 2. That one another questionable call. You saw Coach Hutchins just kind of drop her head.
Carson batting .304 this season.
This one's popped up towards center field, a couple steps in, and an easy play for Oddie for out number 1. Michigan's been making solid contact today. They've only got 2 strikeouts through 4 innings, but they just haven't been able to find the gaps.
Yeah, and props to Ohio State's outfield for tracking it down and getting under it.
Bump steps up to the plate for the 4th time today. Only reached base back in the second where she was walked on 4 straight pitches. First pitch here, low and in the dirt. The freshman Ellie Siegler jumping around in the on-deck circle. Pitch number 2 to Bump. This one finally in the zone for a called strike 1. That one right down Broadway. Siegler looking on, trying to get her timing. Going to look to turn some of that defensive success into offensive success. As the 1-1 to Bump is swung on and missed for strike number 2. Tell you what, with the wind blowing out towards center field, if Bump connected with that one might have landed over at the Ross building about 1.5 miles away.
Yeah, easy.
1-1 pitch, or 1-2 pitch from Hanley, rather, is fouled off. We'll do that one again.
It's always fun when you see a perfectly hit play on either Fisher or Alumni. If the wind is perfect and it has enough pop, it'll land into the opposing field. It always causes a little bit of a confusion for the other players who don't even realize what this yellow ball is doing on the baseball warning track.
Bump does the exact same thing with that 1-2 pitch, fouling off into the net behind her. Yeah, for either team, if you're able to put one into the opposing field, that is an absolute shot. Bump settles back in now. 1-2 count on the way again, fouling it off. We mentioned it with Lexi Blair, and we're seeing it again here with Taylor Bump. It's just something that these veteran Michigan hitters do so well. It's just fouling off pitches until they get the one they want. Great plate discipline, knowing the ones you can lay off of, and just trying to get after anything that's close. 1-2 on the way again. Bump fouls this one off. This one will make its way to our right-hand side and over into the Michigan bullpen.
Yeah, it's been 2 different styles of play for Ohio State. They're not, as batters, they've been swinging and connecting early. Not so much for Michigan.
Hanley's 1-2 misses outside for the first ball in quite a while. The Buckeye fans in attendance today not too happy with that one. But now Bump, after earning that ball, will settle back in with a 2-2 count. 1 out, no runners on, as this one's fouled off again. Bump went down to get it and just barely got a piece of it. Again, if you missed it, it's 5, 6, 7 due up for Michigan. Bump, Siegler, then LeClaire. All of them still looking for their first hit of the afternoon. We mentioned Bump went 1 for 3 yesterday, but did have that solo home run, and one right here would tie things up. 2-2 fouled off again.
Just staying alive on this at-bat. Bump will not go down without a fight.
No matter the outcome now, this one a quality at-bat. This at-bat approaching 10 pitches. 2-2 pitch on the way to Bump again, fouled off once more. You can just see the fatigue setting in for Lexi Hanley in this at-bat.
Yeah, I think it's a question of who is going to give up first, Hanley or Bump. So far, neither wants to go down with an L on this at-bat.
Deep breath from both of them. The wind-up from Hanley on 2-2. Swung on and missed. Hanley finally sits her down. An impressive at-bat nonetheless from Taylor Bump. Going back through that at-bat pitch by pitch, it was ball, strike, strike, and then foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, ball, foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, strike 3. Maybe awkward stoppage of play, and the home plate umpire has some words for Hanley, who tried to pitch when time was still out. So looking back at it and counting that one, a 12-pitch at-bat for Taylor Bump.
Unable to make anything of it. Goes in the stat book the same, just with a strikeout swinging.
Hanley's first delivery to Ellie Siegler is low and outside for ball number 1. We mentioned at the top of this inning, Ellie Siegler had that incredible web gem catch in left field covering all sorts of ground and diving into foul territory to make the play. Looking for another highlight reel here as she swings on the 1-0 pitch but comes up empty. Siegler 2 for 3 yesterday with a pair of singles. Still looking for her first hit of this ball game. Flew out to left field, her first and only time up. On the 1-1, she pops it up back behind her. Now the count extends 1-2. Hanley is out in front. 2 outs, no runners on for Michigan. The Maize and Blue still with only 2 hits so far in this ball game for a measly 2 for 13 from the plate. 1-2 delivery to Siegler, high and outside. We're going to even it out at 22. Wind has changed directions, either blowing a little bit in or directly towards the left field corner. 2-2 pitch on the way from Hanley. Swung on and fouled back.
Hard to believe this has the potential to be a 3-up, 3-down inning. It's taken so long, especially compared to the top of the 4th, which was a total of 5 pitches.
Hanley shakes off the first 2 signs and now will settle in with the 3rd. The 2-2 delivery. Just missing the front knee of Ellie Siegler. She shied away from it, and that'll extend the count to full. You know, sometimes you want to stand in and just get hit to take your free base, but one coming at your front knee is...
Oh, yeah. And that was a fast one, too.
Full count pitch, swung on and missed. Hanley sits down Siegler, and that'll bring us to the top of the 5th inning. An impressive outing from Hanley that inning after the long at-bat from Taylor Bump, able to strike out the next 2. We head to the top of the 5th. If you're just joining us, the Ohio State Buckeyes are up 1-0 after putting up the first and only run in the top of the 2nd. It'll be Megan Beaubien to take her spot in the circle once more. She'll have 9 then top. It'll be Caitlin Kaufman, who came in to pinch hit. She'll lead things off in that 9 hole, followed by Rodriguez pinch hitting in the 1 spot, and then Cortillius in hole number 2.
Michigan with only 2 hits through 4 full innings. It's not a recipe for success. Beaubien's holding up her end of the bargain, only giving up 1 run through 4, getting out of a couple of jams. But if Michigan's offense can't provide any run support, it might be a tough outing for her when the record is given for the wins and the losses.
Buckeyes have been able to put 1 run across on 5 hits. Again, Michigan just 2 for 14 from the dish.
As they wind up this intermission, Beaubien meets with her infielders at the circle. Got the pinch hitter coming back up to the plate.
The aforementioned Kaufman came in to pinch hit in the 2nd inning and delivered, swinging on the first pitch and knocking a line drive through the infield. First pitch her way this time is high and outside for ball number 1. Kaufman, the senior from Visalia, California, looking to get things started here for the Buckeyes in the top of the 5th inning. Infield playing in. Pitch number 2 just missing low. So Kaufman, the lefty, up at the plate. The right-hander, Rodriguez, the junior, looking on, trying to get her timing as she'll step up for the first time of the day after Kaufman. Beaubien gets her to chase upstairs on the 2-0. Wind again just continues to today.
Yeah, it was blowing out. Now it's blowing to the side. Now it's not even blowing much at all.
Beaubien gets her to pop up on the 2-1. Covering a lot of ground is both Mcveigh, Siegler, and Bump, but none of them could get there before it bounced off the left side wall.
Yeah, they probably could have made a play on it, avoided the net for long enough, but just like the perfect position to avoid any fly-out catch from any of the third baseman, shortstop, or left fielder.
So 2-2 pitch on the way for Megan Beaubien. No outs and no runners on. This one hits soft up the middle. Coming over, fielding it on the run is Mcveigh, and nice play. Great footwork there by Ella Mcveigh, fielding it to her forehand side, replacing the feet and firing it across the diamond towards Lexi Blair for out number 1.
That will bring up the top of the order. Coming up, we got Rodriguez. She's 0 for 0 on the day at the plate.
Rodriguez came in defensively as a substitution. We saw her playing second base last inning. She is stepping up to the plate for who seems to be Molina Wilkerson. And it will be, yep, confirmation. It will be in the leadoff spot for Wilkerson. So the red-hot bat of Wilkerson seems to be out of the lineup for the Buckeyes. We mentioned she went 3 for 4 yesterday with a double and a home run.
What we see coming up to the plate is Wilkerson. Is that, yeah, number 23 Wilkerson. It's tough to see the numbers. So I think our computer might be wrong with Rodriguez coming up unless there was a late substitution.
And it will be Wilkerson, so we apologize for that again. White on white is not kind on the eyes. First pitch her way, right across the letters for strike number 1. As we mentioned earlier, Michigan in their famous all-blue, Ohio State in all white with white letters on white jerseys.
You have to really squint to make them out.
Pitch number 2 fouled off backwards, and now Beaubien's out in front in a big manner, 0-2.
We had a quick first out. Beaubien looking for a quick second one as well. After that quick 4th inning, just quick, bang, bang pitching from Beaubien.
0-2 delivery from the veteran. This one hit on a line towards second base. Coming back deep in the hole and firing across is, Molina Livingston just unable to make the play in time. She had a great read on it, but it took an awkward bounce, took her an extra half second to get the ball situated to fire over to first, but
that's always really tough. Her momentum was bringing her towards second. She had to slow down, switch hands with the ball, and then throw it as she was still trying to move towards second off balance. She got a great throw, and it was just a split second too late.
That'll bring up Tegan Cortillius. Cortillius lays this one down, checks the runner at second, but decides to just get the easy out at first. So another instance of Ohio State just playing small ball to put runners in scoring position. It'll be Wilkerson over on second base now with 2 outs as Hockenbrack steps up to the plate. Middle of the infield playing back, corners playing even with the bags. Fresh count and 2 outs. This one popped up. It's going to stay in the infield. Covering up to get it is Molina Livingston, and that's going to do it for the inning. Another quick outing for Megan Beaubien in the top of the 5th. And that'll bring us to the bottom half of the inning. Michigan going to look to tack at least 1 on. They need 1 to tie it, at least 2 to take the lead.
Yeah, Michigan is running out of time, only have 9 more outs left to at least get 1 more run. Potentially 1 swing of the bat could do it. 2 swings of the bat could give them the lead.
They've got 7, 8, 9 due up. It's LeClaire, Mcveigh, and Annabelle Wedra before heading back to the top of the order with Christina Burkhart, Lexi Blair, and Molina Livingston.
Coming out again is Handley.
Michigan taking their time in their pre-inning huddle. Again, we'll give you a quick another score update from Ray Fisher Stadium over there right across the way. It's the bottom of the 3rd inning with Joey Velasquez up to bat. Michigan still up 6-2, so they've been unable to put another one across the board since the grand slam from Joe Stewart.
A young fan just went home with a Michigan softball prize pack for guessing the correct walk-up song for Lexi Blair.
Hanley taking her time, and now she'll finally step into the circle, and looks like we're ready to go here in the bottom of the 5th inning. As you mentioned, Adam, Michigan's got at most 3 innings to work here. First pitch to LeClaire is going to be called ball 1, missing just a bit wide on the right-hand side. Corners playing up. We know LeClaire's got the speed. Really, the entire bottom half of this order does. Pitch number 2 to LeClaire is swung on and missed. She took a big hack at that one. LeClaire reached on a fielder's choice, her first and only time up back in the 2nd inning. On that awkward play that resulted in Taylor Bump being out at 2nd, and a nice play coming in from 3rd base is Mackenzie Bump on the side of the Buckeyes. LeClaire tried to lay down a bunt, but just popped it up in foul territory. And Bump just had a good read on it, able to come up and make the play.
Huge heads-up play. It was in foul territory, but that's how you maintain this very fragile 1-run lead, is getting an out any moment you can.
First pitch to Ella Mcveigh, missing low in the zone. Mcveigh 1 for 1 on the afternoon, singled back in the 2nd. She's looked real sturdy on the defensive end over at shortstop. The 1-0 delivery from Hanley. This one floats way above the head of Mcveigh. Missed the top of her face mask by about a good foot or 2. Couple deep breaths, both from Hanley and Mcveigh, and now both will settle back in. 2-0 hitter's pitch on the way. That one a called ball just below the knee, so now a 3-0 count here from Ella Mcveigh. If Michigan has learned anything from the event so far of this one, it's if you think it's a ball, just stand in there for an extra second.
Yeah, don't want to give the umpire any reason to call it a strike, unless it like literally skips and hits the dirt.
And that one's going to be ball 4. An easy at-bat for Mcveigh, 4 straight balls, and now she ends up on 2nd base. That'll bring up Annabelle Wedra. We could potentially have a pinch hitting situation here. We've got a quick meeting at the plate between Carol Hutchins and Annabelle Wedra.
This song feels kind of out of place in Ann Arbor. I don't know about you. Maybe Tuscaloosa it fits in. Yeah, and the crowd isn't really getting into it either.
This isn't the type of music you're used to listening to in DC, Adam?
No, not particularly. Play some mambo music in DC, not at some southern country.
So it'll be Wedra to stay up at the plate. She's got 1 out and a runner on. It's Ella Mcveigh over at first base. As we mentioned, we know Mcveigh has wheels. She can fly around the base pass.
Okay, this makes sense. Wedra, guess where she's from? Hoover, Alabama. That is why that is her walk-up song.
Potential to do some damage here. First pitch her way, missing high and outside. Ball number 1. Burkhart looking on from on deck. If Wedra is able to reach safely, it could be a very, very fortunate situation for Michigan. I don't think you'd want anyone else up at the plate besides Christina Burkhart right now. 1-0 delivery from Hanley, low and in the zone for ball number 2. We have a couple players running down to the Ohio State bullpen again. We can barely read the numbers directly in front of us, so running all the way down there, we can't really see, but if we get any report, we'll let you know as soon as we do. As it looks like another home run for Michigan in the other end. 2-0 pitch to Wedra, swung on and tipped back into the glove of Pack.
Yeah, Michigan baseball looking to make a run at the Big Ten regular season title. Coming in today's game, they were 4th place in the conference behind OSU, Rutgers, and Illinois. Or pardon me, Maryland, Rutgers, Illinois.
2-1 pitch to Annabelle Riedra is swung on and missed again. So after going down 2-0, Handley's been able to fight her way back, or Handley rather, has been able to fight her way back to an even 2-2. And I just checked the stat line, and I do not believe it, Adam. That is Joe Stewart's 2nd grand slam of the day.
He's been hitting. He had, I think, 2 home runs against MSU last weekend. He's really finding his stride. Perfect time of the season, too. Michigan, they have a 3-game series here in Ann Arbor against Rutgers.
2-2 pitch to Weidra, misses outside. The count will go full.
So they have a chance to maybe make up some ground in the standings, go to College Park in 3 weeks. I'll actually be covering that for WCBN too in Maryland.
The Michigan bench getting loud here. Full count pitch to Annabelle Weidra. Missing outside for ball number 4.
Michigan still had only 2 hits in the game, but earning some base runners based on some poor pitch accuracy from Handley. 1 out with 2 runners on now.
And now you can hear it. The fans here at Alumni Field are getting loud. The best position Michigan's been in a while. 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position with 1 out, and the red-hot bat of Christina Burkhart up at the plate. You look at this roster, and you know, who else would you want up right now? A 400 hitter, 25 RBIs on the season, 17 doubles. First pitch her way, missing high and outside.
Quite an extended lead on second base from Mcveigh. Had to get Farley kind of cheating in from second. And here we have a mound visit. This might be it that we've seen of Handley.
As the Michigan bench comes out of the dugout to lead a Go Blue chant, the energy in Alumni Field right now has gone up incredibly high. As we'll just turn up the nats and let you all hear for yourselves. Talk about the best fans in college sports. I mean, the Michigan faithful show up and show out to every sporting event, regardless of whatever sport it is or wherever it is, and they're loud here in Alumni Field today.
Yeah, softball especially, though, has a huge following. Even down in Tampa at those tournaments, you'd see a ton of maize and blue.
Pitch number 2 to Burkhart. Again, missing high and outside. She has a hitter's count when she steps back in.
So after the mound visit, Handley's still remaining in. This might be her last batter, though. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if a hit or a walk is given up.
2-0 count for Burkhart. That one catching the outside corner for strike number 1. Again, it's Mcveigh on second, Annabelle Weidra on first. 1 out and Burkhart up to the plate. Lexi Blair looking on deck. The 2-1 pitch to Burkhart, low and in the zone for ball number 3.
And this gets the crowd loud. 3-1 count. 2 runners on, only 1 out.
Hutch is hyping up the crowd over there from her spot on third base. A hitter's count for Burkhart. 3-1 pitch on the way. Missing outside, and as I say that, that is called strike 2. The second time we've seen that happen today, and the Michigan fans here are very upset.
They're making their displeasure known. So make it a full count now. But still alive is Christina Burkhart.
Could be a huge swing of events here. Full count pitch on the way to Burkhart. That one missing low. It doesn't matter. That's going to load the bases. And even as Burkhart runs down to first, Hutch lets home plate umpire Cameron Bornstad know that, you know, that shouldn't have been, that last one should have been ball 4.
Yeah, she got 5 balls on that at bat.
Speaking of a bat you'd want up in this lineup, who else but Lexi Blair? On her senior day, a chance to put her team out in front. 1 out and bases loaded for the veteran Lexi Blair up to step in now. First pitch on the way from Hanley to Blair. Above her eyes, ball number 1. Mcveigh at third, Weidra at second, Burkhart at first. As the Let's Go Blue chants get louder and louder as each progresses.
Kind of surprised Hanley's still in for this pitch at bat.
The 1-0, low and in the zone, ball 2.
Two more balls and the tying run will come in. That's the worst possible way you'd like to give up the lead, is have bases loaded. All 3 of the runners have been walked, so they can't even touch what you're throwing. Michigan hasn't had a hit in 3 innings.
2-0 pitch to Blair, fouled off. So Blair's got bases loaded with 1 out, and Michigan has a .347 hitter in Molina Livingston on deck. The Let's Go Blue chants start once more. Wind blowing out towards center. Hanley's 2-1 delivery to Blair. That one again missing low. A hitter's count on the way again. 3-1 count for Lexi Blair. The energy here is the highest we've seen it all day and maybe all season. A rivalry matchup. 3-1 pitch to Blair. Hit hard on the ground. That one's going to get through the infield. That's going to score 1. Throw home, and Weidra's going to stay at third. An RBI single for the senior Lexi Blair, and we are tied up in Ann Arbor.
Huge play. Weidra stays at third. She did kind of round, and she probably would have been safe because the throw was offline, but better safe than sorry. Michigan ties it up with still 1 out here as we get the 3rd hit of the game from Livingston.
Lexi Blair comes in where she needs it most, and we will have a pinch runner for her. Blair with that left knee injury, so Kaylee Rodriguez will come in to pinch run at first base. The Buckeyes electing to keep Hanley in right now. 1 out, bases loaded, and Molina Livingston up at the plate.
Michigan looking to pack on the run support here, tying it up here in the bottom of the 5th.
Livingston at the plate, Carson on deck. First pitch on the way to Molina Livingston. Low and in the dirt, nice block by Pack to keep Weidra honest at third base.
And the crowd is continuing coming in. There's just a whole standing room only contingent down the third base line.
Hanley checking the wristband. It's a 1-0 count. The delivery to Livingston. That one right down Broadway for a called strike 1. Silences the crowd a little bit, but the Michigan fans have just been slowly getting more and more excited here in Alumni Field, and that RBI single from Lexi Blair has put them at the highest they've been today. 1-1 pitch to Livingston. That one again a called strike, this one on the outside half.
Livingston yet to even move the bat from her shoulder with a 1-2 count and 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
If anyone at home is a fan of advanced statistics, Molina Livingston has a perfect batting average this year with bases loaded. She fouls off the 1-2.
I feel like you might have jinxed it there.
Yeah, don't worry, I knocked on wood. 347 hitter, 424 hitter with runners in scoring position. Again, give you the look around. It's Weidra at third, Burkhart at second, Rodriguez the pinch runner at first base. 1-2 delivery on the way from Hanley. This one popped up. It's going to make its way over the net and into the stands. A fan tried to make a one-handed grab, but it bounces off his palm. That one looked to be a stinger. Livingston shakes it off real quick. And now she'll settle back in. Speed on every bag. The 1-2 pitch to Livingston. Fouled off again. Great at-bat so far from Livingston, fighting off pitches she doesn't want. The pitch count for Hanley approaching 100. One-two pitch again. Fouled back. This at-bat seeming pretty reminiscent of the Taylor Bump at-bat from before. Michigan looking for a better outcome in this one, though. The 1-2 pitch, again, this one hit high in the air towards right field. The runner Weidra is going to tag, play at the plate. Not in time, another RBI from Molina Livingston, and now Michigan takes the lead at Alumni Field. A sac fly to right field, and
Not
now the
only
Wolverines
that,
up 2-1.
First lead of the series so far, too. They've been tied quite a bit. Michigan finally breaks through, and there's still one, it's only 2 outs here, so still a chance for more with runners on first and second.
That'll bring up Hannah Carson. Carson's got 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position in Christina Burkhart. And looking at the stat sheet for Hannah Carson this year, 30 RBIs. First pitch her way is a called strike in the outside half. Oh, 1 pitch from Hanley on the way. That one changeup just missing outside. Nice pitch. Kind of got Carson fooled, but luckily for Carson, it couldn't quite find the zone. Carson way back in the back of the batter's box. Swings on the 1-1 above her head and fouls it off, and it makes its way back and bounces off her helmet. What are the chances of that one? You foul a ball back off the net, and it somehow comes back and hits you in the noggin.
With so many at-bats, you are bound to see crazy stuff like that happen.
1-2 pitch from Hanley. High and outside, ball 2. So Michigan's put up 2 in the bottom of the 5th here. Lexi Blair got it started with that RBI single with bases loaded. So they have the lead, but in a series like it's been so far, you are going to need and want as many as you can get. This one hits soft on the ground towards second base. Close play at first, and Carson is called safe. A lunge right at the end. And a great hustle play from Hannah Carson. Legs out the infield single and loads the bases.
That is huge for Michigan, keeping this inning alive and loading the bases in the process. Umpires are going to talk about that after Ohio State head coach Kelly Kovac Shanley speaks to the home plate umpire.
The first base umpire, James Connors, had the best look at it. And they're going to say she was safe. What a hustle play from Hannah Carson. That one dribbled softly towards second. It looked like she was pretty much dead in the water. It looked like that was going to be the end of Michigan's rally inning. But the junior Hannah Carson getting it done. That'll bring up Taylor Bump with bases loaded and 2 outs. Michigan in position to do some more damage.
Add some insurance runs after 2 already scored in the bottom of the 5th. Bump 0 for 1 on the day with a walk.
3 home runs, 16 RBIs on the season for Taylor Bump. First pitch her way is a big swing and a miss. That one, another one of those swings from Taylor Bump where she comes up empty, but had she made contact, that ball would have landed all the way in East Lansing. Hanley checks the wristband, now delivers on 0-1. Missing low and outside, and we're evened out at 11. Burkhart at third, Kayla Rodriguez at second, Hannah Carson over at first base after legging out the infield single to extend the inning. The 1-1 pitch to Bump, fouled off. The freshman Ellie Siegler looking on from on deck. I'm sure she would love to be able to step up to the plate this inning with bases loaded again.
Oh, I'm sure. Who wouldn't? This is every player's dream, especially against a rival like Ohio State.
1-2 pitch on the way to Taylor Bump. Popped up foul backwards over the backstop. The outfield surprisingly playing a little bit in. Middle of the infield playing back, about a step in from the dirt. Corners playing well behind the bags. 1-2 pitch to Bump. This one hit deep towards right field, covering a lot of ground and catching it in foul territory is Wilkerson. So Michigan leaves the bases loaded, but not before they put up 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning to take the lead here at Alumni Field. We head to the top 6, 2-1 Michigan.
Michigan potentially able to get out of this game, just 6 more outs needed from Ohio State. This would be Ohio State's first loss in 5 games. They're coming off of a sweep of Iowa and then a 1 win against an out-of-conference opponent in Toledo. So they played at home in Columbus against Toledo, and they won there. Got swept by Northwestern in the series prior. This is really funny. So they were supposed to play Penn State on Tuesday, April 5th in a doubleheader. That got postponed due to weather. Pushed it back to the following week, or pardon me, 2 weeks later, also in Columbus, also postponed. 3rd time's a charm. They postponed it to next Tuesday, the 26th. Hopefully for Ohio State, they'll get that game in. Following that, they go to play Nebraska at home and then finish the season at College Park in Maryland. So it'll be a tough end, especially against Nebraska. But they're coming into this game on a 5-game winning streak.
It'll be 4, 5, 6, 2 back that they gave up in the bottom half of the last. It'll be Carver due up first, followed by Bump and Quartercracks. Carver 2 for 2 on the afternoon with a single and a double. First pitch her way is a ball outside.
We'd like to thank everyone for spending your afternoon with us. It's a beautiful day, so maybe you're listening to us outside.
1-0 pitch on the way from Beaubien, hit hard in a line right towards center field and into the glove of Christina Burkhart. Nice piece of contact by Nikki Carver, but she couldn't find the gap. These last 3 innings from Megan Beaubien have been, at least through the first out of this one, have been incredibly efficient. I mean, 2 innings ago, she ended the inning on 5 pitches. Last inning was less than 10.
Yeah, she's not getting players to miss, but she's letting them hit it into a way that her defenders could provide some assistance.
First pitch to Mackenzie Bump is swung out and missed for strike number 1. We have a defensive substitution. It's Lauren Essman over at first base for Lexi Blair. Other than that, the Wolverines defense staying the same. Beaubien's 0-1. Hit in the air towards left field, making a nice play running back is Siegler.
What are we talking about? She's letting the OSU players put it up in the air into the outfield and then trusting that her defenders potentially, or especially Siegler and especially Burkhart, are able to get under it.
That has been a strong suit of Michigan all year. Just they've been incredible on the defensive end, a .977 team fielding percentage. So 2 up and 2 down on just 4 total pitches. That'll bring up Cammie Quartercracks. First pitch to her, low and outside. Carson had to slide over onto her right knee to field it. Quartercracks 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Looking for her first hit of this ball game. The 1-0 delivery from Beaubien, a changeup, just missing low in the zone. Carson had to drop down to her knees to field that one off the dirt, but it wasn't until the ball had passed home plate. A beautiful change-out for Beaubien that just dropped right off the table, just a tad low. Two-0 hitter's pitch to Quartercracks, hit hard on the line, and that one's going to make its way through the infield. Mcveigh dove to her backhand, but couldn't come up with it. So to be the first base runner of this ball game. And it looks like we're going to have a quick couple substitutions, or excuse me, just one. It's going to be Adi up to the plate, but we are going to have a pinch runner. Pinch runner coming in is number 11, Lindsey Potter, excuse me. Potter, the sophomore from Plain City, Ohio.
Beaubien finishes up the mound visit, staying on out on the field. Don't see anyone warming up in the pen yet either. So I would imagine they stick with her at least for a little bit longer. She's had a great outing, very efficient too, and currently on track for the win.
As I'll quick knock on wood for you there, Adam. First pitch on the way to Meggiati is well above her eyes for ball number 1. Potter, the pinch runner over at first base. Has some wheels, 3 stolen bases on the season. One-0 pitch from Beaubien. This one swung and fouled back into the net. Adi, 1 for 2, singled her first time up in the second. An RBI single. The only run for OSU so far, and then popped up to center field their last time up in the 4th. 1-1 pitch from Megan Beaubien.
That was a really beautiful changeup. Didn't get the nod, though.
Floats what looked to be a little bit outside. Swung on and missed. Got her to chase up in the zone.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning.
The pitch count for Megan Beaubien now still under 70 pitches. The 2-2 delivery. This one hit soft on a line to Molina Livingston, and that's going to do it for the inning. Ohio State leaves another base runner on, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the 6th. Michigan going to look for a few more insurance runs here as they lead 2-1 at Alumni Field.
Yeah, Michigan potentially only 3 more outs needed against the Buckeyes offense to tie this one up, tie the series up at 1 win apiece, and tomorrow will be the decider. They face off at 1 p.m. tomorrow. That game will be on WCBN in addition to ESPNU, so tune into that.
And if you so happen to choose to use our audio instead of ESPN's, make sure to send us a video of it on Twitter. We love seeing that stuff. Our fans sometimes send us videos of them syncing up our audio with the television broadcast, and it always makes me smile.
Let's see who comes up to the circle. Is that Handley again?
It is going to be Lexi Handley. Ohio State had a player warm up before last inning. They're sending someone else down to warm up now.
No.
Handley's pitch count getting up there, sitting at 113, but she's got plenty more in the tank. But
she's lots in the tank, but she's been inaccurate this game. How many walks does she have?
Looks like throughout this ballgame, it's 4 walks for Lexi Handley. But we mentioned the efficiency of Megan Beaubien. They've now, or after this bottom half of the inning, they will have thrown the exact same number of innings. But currently, Handley, having thrown, 1 less inning than Beaubien, she's sitting at more than 40 more pitches than Beaubien's thrown.
Yeah. Michigan, they've been fouling off all these pitches and not giving up an easy one. Any easy at-bat. Even when they strike out, they make Handley work for it.
6, 7, 8, Siegler, LeClaire, and McVeigh do up for the Maize and Blue. First pitch to Siegler's hit on a line. That one's going to get through the infield and drop down for a single. The freshman getting aggressive on the first pitch she sees. And the line drive single puts a base runner on for Michigan.
And that's huge. Insurance run is going to be key here at the bottom of the sixth. Up by only one. It's certainly nice to have the lead going into the seventh, but you prefer more than one. Prefer a larger lead that can't be tied up with a single swing of the softball bat.
First pitch on the way to LeClaire. Misses low in the zone, ball number 1. LeClaire reached on a fielder's choice in the second. That's her only time on base today. Ella Mcveigh, the shortstop, looking on deck. 1-0 pitch, hit hard. That one's going to get through the infield, and that one's going to go down as a single. 2 straight singles over to shortstop side, and 2 straight base runners on for Michigan.
Huge stop by Corticrack, but just unable to get up and either flip it over to second or first in time to get the out.
Yeah, diving to her backhand, knocks it down, can't reel it in as it dribbles a little bit past her. That'll bring up Ella Mcveigh. McVeigh 1 for 1 on the day, singled in the first inning, walked and scored in her last time up in the 5th. She's got potential to do some damage. Tries to lay down a bunt there, but puts it foul.
Got 1 strike here for McVeigh. 1 for 1 on the day with a walk and a single.
0-1 pitch from Hanley. Skips up into the glove of Pack for ball number 1. Great speed on the base pass, and Siegler and LeClaire on second base and first respectively. A ball down the right field line could score Audrey LeClaire. She can fly her on the base pass, as we mentioned before. 9 stolen bases this season. The 1-1, laid down the third baseline, fired over to first, and in time to get the out on McVeigh, but she does her job.
That was beautifully placed, too. Could not ask for a better bunt. Almost was able to gun it out, especially if the third baseman wasn't creeping in so much.
9 then top for Michigan. It's Annabelle Weidra stepping up with 2 runners in scoring position with Siegler and LeClaire at third and second. And then Christina Burkhart looming large on deck. Corners of the infield playing up. Middle of the infield playing pretty much even with the bags. Weidra puts this one down the first baseline, but it's going to go just foul. That one stayed in. That was 2 runs for sure. Great turn there by Weidra.
Crowd chanting, "Let's go blue," here with 1 out and 2 runners in scoring position with the 9-hitter up at the plate.
0-1 pitch to Weidra. Catches the outside corner. She did not like that call.
And the crowd voices their displeasure. Michigan has been getting questionable calls against them all day, it seems like.
Weidra takes a few deep breaths and now will settle back in with an 0-2 count. 1 out here. Runners on second and third. That one high and outside for ball number 1. Weidra, 291 hitter, 7 RBIs on the season. The 1-2 pitch hit back towards the pitcher, and she's almost tosses it into the stands, but a nice job by Carver to go down and get it. That's going to be out number 2.
Michigan with the top of the order now. Burkhart coming up. Still 2 runners in scoring position, but now with 2 outs, unable to get a sac fly run. Has to be a clean base hit.
Still a dangerous bat up at the plate for Michigan. Burkhart stepping up into that left-handed batter's box. First pitch her way, missing outside for ball number 1. You know, you look and you think, okay, maybe potentially Ohio State just doesn't want to pitch to Christina Burkhart, but then if you put her on, as she fouls pitch number 2 back, if you put her on, then you still have to go through Lexi Blair and Molina Livingston before you really get to anybody down at Taylor Bump in the 5-hole who hits under 300, and even Bump still has potential to just ruin your afternoon. Hanley taking her time, checking the wristband. Now set to deliver on 1-1. This one hit hard down the first baseline, just making its way foul again.
That would have been a 2-run single if that were an inch or two to the left.
Nikki Carver over there at first base is getting some lucky breaks.
Oh, certainly.
That's the 3rd ball this inning that's been hit hard down her line, but missed the first baseline by about a foot or two. 1-2 advantage pitch from Hanley on the way. Fouled back into the glove of Pack. And Michigan, unfortunately, can't put any more on the board in the bottom of 6. Ohio State will head to top 7, and they need 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead. But all Michigan needs is 3 outs and then a handshake, and they can go home.
Pretty much. And then coming out to the mound once again, Beaubien, looking for this complete game, 1-run outing. On pace for the win if she could get 3 more outs.
She'll have 8-9 top to deal with. Pack, Farley, and then Wilkerson back at the top of the order.
Outside of that second inning with the 1 run and the bases loaded, Michigan's been pretty dominant pitching-wise. Getting out of most innings, only giving up a single base runner, if that.
It is Lauren Essman still in defensively for Lexi Blair. So Beaubien has a senior and then 2 freshmen to deal with to start this one off. The catcher, Pack, the veteran in this lineup. Senior from Lakewood, California. Two to 1 sits the score in favor of the Michigan Wolverines. Megan Beaubien needs 3 outs to head back into the dugout with a win and tie this series up. Ohio State looking for their 2nd straight win over the Michigan Wolverines and their 6th straight win overall. Beaubien's deep breath and now the delivery. First pitch of the inning to Pack as a called strike in the outside half.
Each and every pitch, this crowd is getting loud and on their feet. Honestly, though, I don't think too many fans would be disappointed about extras, just considering how nice of a day it's been.
Beaubien's 0-1, that one missing high and outside. Tried to go back to the same spot, but just a little bit off her mark. One count for Pack when she steps back in. Corners playing up, Essman well in front of the bag at first base. Beaubien's delivery, a changeup, just missing on the outside. Every player and every fan and every coach in Maize and Blue in the ballpark upset with that call.
Oh, they're loud. Yeah, they don't like that, especially after what they've endured the whole game pretty much, where that ball has been called a strike against them.
Two-one pitch on the way from Beaubien. This one hit on the line, and that's going to drop down for a single into right field. A bloop line drive following the questionable call on what would have been strike 2. Gets Ohio State started here in the top of the 7th inning.
First baseman Essman was playing awfully in. If she was in normal position, she might have been able to get that in the air. We have a pinch runner coming on out at first base, number 15, Kirsten Epley.
And I just do not believe it, Adam. Looking at the box score, as we just saw another one trot all the way around on the bases in Ray Fisher Stadium.
Don't tell me.
It was Joe Stewart again for the third time today, follows up his 2 grand slams with a 2-run home run.
If you want, what inning is that in?
The 5th inning just ended. So he's currently 3 for 4 with 10 RBIs.
Wow, this is a game. It's going to be he's been super hot recently. I mentioned last weekend he had 2 home runs against Michigan State. After the conclusion of this game, if you want to tune into WCBN 1, catch the end of that. I think the outcome is pretty secure right now. It is 14-2 with 4 more frames left. Michigan's pin hasn't been great, but even I think they'll be able to get through that.
A pinch hitter for Ohio State, and it's going to be a foul ball called. Ohio State
do not like that.
Visibly unhappy with that call.
They're yelling and screaming at the home plate ump.
J.C. Ruberti, the left-handed senior, chased the ball way high and outside in the zone to try and lay down a bunt, and Ohio State thought she didn't touch it because it went wildly off the glove of Hannah Carson and the runner advanced.
No.
But the home plate umpire says that it was a foul ball. So a lucky break there for Michigan.
Crowd chanting, "Let's go blue." In the meantime, Beaubien meets with her infield, gets a game plan, and gets ready to pick this one up with 0-1 count and no outs here in the top of the 7th.
Middle of the infield playing up, or excuse me, corners of the infield playing up. That one a bunt right down, back to Beaubien, fires to first base. And a nice job by Molina Livingston to rotate over and cover first for out number 1.
Makes sense calling a bunt there, especially with the end of the lineup too, and just needing 1 run with no outs. Just manufacture that any way you could get. Now we have 1 out with a runner on second. Coach Hutchins talking with the home plate ump.
And we are going to have a pitching change. So Megan Beaubien, her day isn't quite done as the runner on second will be attributed to her. But what an outing for Megan Beaubien. Through 6 1/3 inning, only had 1 strikeout, but she just looked dominant.
That's gutsy pulling Beaubien after only 1 base runner, and she had a low pitch count too. But with a 1-run lead, Coach Hutchins doesn't want to take any chances, puts in the freshman Lauren Durkowski. She's oftentimes followed Beaubien this season. Usually Hutchins likes having Beaubien take the start if she gets into any trouble. No hesitation going to Durkowski. And it looked like she might get the complete game, but I guess maybe not, with Durkowski coming out in relief as probably planned prior to the game.
As I mentioned, the runner on second base will be attributed to Beaubien, but Durkowski's going to have to take the reins from here. She's got the top of the order in Wilkerson up, followed by Cortillius and Hockenbrock.
So Beaubien is officially free of getting the loss, so worst she could do is the no decision. And she's on pace for the win if Michigan could secure 2 more outs with the leadoff batter coming up to the plate. Freshman Wilkinson, the outfielder from Indiana.
To set the stage, it's 1 runner on second base. It's a pinch runner in Eppley. Molina Wilkerson up at the plate, 1 out. And Ohio State is down 2-1. They need 1 to tie it. But the leading run is at the plate right now in Wilkerson. Should we go to the bottom of the 7th, Michigan has 2, 3, 4 due up. Durkowski's first pitch, a changeup right at the knees. A beautiful pitch for strike number 1.
Each and every strike, the crowd is cheering quite loudly. They're putting their entire support behind this Michigan team today.
You want to talk about confidence. Coming in, first pitch you throw is an off-speed. 0-1 pitch, rise ball, missing upstairs. That'll even out the count at 11. Durkowski's thrown Just under 38 innings this season. Looking to get the job done here in Ann Arbor. 1-1 pitch on the way. The deep breath into the delivery. High and outside for ball number 2. Outfield playing straight up. Corners playing even with the bags in the infield. 2-1 pitch to Wilkerson. Change up again. That one just missing high.
The crowd does not like that call.
From this angle, I mean, that was as pretty as you're going to get. But instead, Durkowski's going to have a 3-1 hitters count when she delivers to Wilkerson next. The 3-1 hit hard on the line to left field. Siegler catches it cleanly and rifles it into the infield. Great play by the freshman to keep the runner at third. But now it's going to be runners on the corners with 1 out.
This is intriguing how Michigan game plans this. Number 2 hitter coming up to the plate.
And it looks like it is going to be a pinch hitter. Number 33, Avery Clark, will step to the plate.
Curious to potentially intentionally walk. Load up the bases here with 1 out. You have to have a lot of faith in your infield to turn 2 if you're going to do that. But as of right now, you probably put the corners playing in to go home if needed. Center the infield playing deep. Anything to the outfield is going to tie it up. Even if it's in the air, it likely will too, unless it's a shallow bloop.
It looks like Ohio State went back on their own decision. They're going to keep Cortillius out there. They brought out the pinch hitter, Avery Clark. She was warming up on deck for that entire bat in Wilkerson. She started coming to the plate, and then Ohio State took a quick second and debriefed and decided to let Cortillius take a shot at it. She's 0 for 3 on the afternoon, 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Corners playing up. 1 out, runners on the corners. Turkowski's pitch to Cortillius. Waves at a bunt for strike number 1. The runner makes its way safely down to second base. So now runners on second and third, 2 in scoring position. And then now we're going to have the pinch hitter come in.
So the batter came up for 1 pitch and 1 pitch only just to advance the base runner, take out the double play potential. Able to do that now, the pinch hitter. The question is, could the pinch hitter not have just taken that pitch? Is there a reason you needed the original batter in?
I think Ohio State wanted Cortillius to get the bunt down, but she just whiffed and came up empty. But that will bring up the aforementioned Avery Clark. The junior's got jobs to do with runners on the corners. Great changeup from Lauren Durkowski. Not phased at all by the pinch hitter, and that one's strike number 2.
1 pitch away from coming up to the final out of the game. The crowd's getting loud.
0-2 count. The pitch from Lauren Durkowski. Changeup up at the top of the zone for ball number 1.
You rarely see a pitcher rely so much on off speed, but Durkowski has the ability to pull that off. We've seen it a lot all season, especially coming in for relief.
Durkowski taking a deep breath, now set to deliver on 1-2. This one blown by Clark as she fouls it into the Michigan dugout. Made its way through the gap in the fence and ricochets around in the hard concrete dugout. The count will stay the same, though.
You could feel the energy here at Alumni. 1-2, and here's the windup.
Durkowski's pitch up in the zone. Check swing. They're going to appeal down to third base. They say she didn't go. The count will go 2-2.
Durkowski, in contrast to Beaubien, taking her time on each and every pitch, looking at the wrist, getting composed. Beaubien like controlling pace of play.
The delivery from the freshman. Changeup hit on the ground towards third. Bump fires across the diamond for out number 2.
That was crucial defensive play from Bump. Checked down the runner, made sure she didn't even move an inch off of the base, and then gunned it to first base well in time to get the second out. Michigan is 1 out away from closing this game out and tying up the series at 1 apiece.
You got to question the decision there by Ohio State to bring in a pinch hitter. Tegan Cortillius was, sure she was 0 for 2 on the day, but both of those at-bats were against Megan Bobian. And a new face in Lauren Turkowski, I almost feel like you let your .375 hitter stay up and duke it out.
Going to be a quick mound visit from the catcher. So we have a 1-0 count here.
It's Sam Hockenbrack, the last chance for Ohio State here. She's got 2 runners in scoring position. It's Eppley on third, Wilkerson on second base.
We got the tying run just 90 feet away from the, or 60 feet, pardon me, from home plate.
The freshman Durkowski looking to get it done here. The 1-0 pitch, hit on a line. That one's going to drop down to the gap in left center field. That'll score 1, that'll score 2, and a stand-up double for Sam Hockenbrack, and Ohio State takes the lead in the top of the 7th inning.
One of those runs attributed to Bobian. And that's going to give Ohio State the lead once again. Michigan's going to have to walk this one off if they want to win. We've seen quite a few times this season Michigan falling behind in the top of the 7th, just unable to finish out. Even some games they've put in for relief, they put in Storako in the top of the 7th to get that out. But this one decides to go with Turkowski, and Michigan fumbles it there.
We're going to have a mound meeting. As now 2nd and 3rd with no outs in the top of the second inning turns into 2 runs and a runner standing on second base in Hockenbrack. It'll be Durkowski to stay in the circle. And looks like we have a pinch hitter for Nikki Carver. No correction. Carver will stay. Not sure what that motion from the umpire was there. But Carver will step up to the plate now. 2 for 3 on the afternoon. First pitch her way as she waves as the changeup way out in front. Again, the confidence in the freshman Durkowski to go right back to that changeup after giving up the line drive double. Everyone playing back now. The 0-1 upstairs, just missing the face mask of Nikki Carver.
The contingent of fans who drove up from Columbus are quite loud, but everyone else is now silenced.
Durkowski's 1-1 changeup catches the outside of the zone for strike number 2. And a bit of role reversal for the fans here in Alumni. The Ohio State fans, the ones unhappy with that call. Durkowski out in front, 1-2, 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Goes back to the rise ball and missing upstairs. We're going to even it out. Durkowski taking her time, spinning the ball in the right hand and getting the signs from her dugout. The count sits at 22. The windup from the freshman Durkowski. The pitch, rise ball again missing upstairs. That's 3 straight missing high in the zone.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom or top of the 7th here.
The pitch from Durkowski, swung on and fouled back. Luckily, she got a piece of it. It took an awkward bounce off the shoulder of Hannah Carson.
Coach Hutchins coming out, making sure Carson's okay. She looks fine.
Smile on Carson's face. She just kind of laughs that one off. So we'll do that one again. Full count, 2 outs, and a runner on second base. Ohio State looking for a few more here. Durkowski's pitch to Carver, changeup, foul back. Outfield playing straight up. There's a bit of action down in the Ohio State bullpen. For the third straight time, the full count delivery from Durkowski. Missing upstairs, and that's ball 4.
Michigan just can't get out of this inning. Already surrendered 2. Looking to go to the bottom of the 7th, only down by 1.
Following the full count walk, that'll bring up Mackenzie Bump. And looks like it's going to be Megan Bobie in to re-enter here for Lauren Durkowski.
That makes me question why they ever even took Bobie out in the first place. Guess Durkowski's now on the hook for the loss if Michigan is unable to get at least 1 run in the bottom of the 7th.
So after going 6 1/3, Megan Bobien will re-enter here in the top of the 7th inning.
Only 1 out recorded by Durkowski and 1 run surrendered.
Bobien wasting no time. She'll get right into it. First pitch, dribbled up the middle. Tough play at first, and they make the play. The ground ball got through her legs, but Molina Livingston right there to clean it up. And that'll bring Michigan back into the dugout. And they've got 1 to tie it, 2 for the win.
We have seen a couple of walk-offs this season. Question is whether they have that in them today. Fortunately, Michigan has a strong portion of their lineup coming up to the plate. It's going to be Esmond, Livingston, and Carson. It's a 2-3-4 for those following along at home. I wouldn't be surprised if Esmond is maybe pinch hit for.
Looks like it will be Hanley to take the circle in the final inning.
So she was on pace for the loss. Now she's back in looking to secure the win. This would be her 7th inning, assuming she's able to get through it all.
It's 2-3-4 due up for Michigan. It's Lexi Blair re-entering for Lauren Esmond, followed by Molina Livingston and Hannah Carson. Should they need to go farther than that, it's Bump, Sealer, and LeClaire, followed by McVeigh and Weidra all the way through the order, before heading back to the top to Christina Burkhart. So again, Michigan needs 1 to tie the score here, 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 to tie rather, to set the score at 3-3, and then any additionals will walk it off for the Wolverines at home.
That's going to end the warm-up as Ohio State's infield gives some words of encouragement to Handley. And there we have the warming up players in the OSU bullpen coming on into the dugout. So it looks like Ohio State's going to be riding with Handley, win or lose in this one. Here in the bottom of the 7th, razor-thin lead.
Again, Lexi Blair, Molina Livingston, and Hannah Carson, the first 3 due up for Michigan. Blair on her senior day here at Alumni Field with potential to keep her team in this ball game. Hanley so far, 6 innings. She's allowed 6 hits and 2 runs, has walked 4 batters and struck out 5. Pitch count sitting just under 130 at 127. And as you mentioned, Adam, she went from the inning prior to being in a position for the loss to now in the driver's seat for the win. Blair 1 for 3 on the afternoon. That RBI single that got things started in the 5th inning. First pitch her way this time, a strike that catches her knees. Hanley out in front early. Blair will step back in, down 0-1. Hanley's delivery. Tried to go back to the same spot, but this time missing low. We'll even it out at 11. Both dugouts on the fence, on their feet. A lot riding on this inning right here. Blair puts this one down the line. That one's fair. She's got at least one, if not two, and they're going to hold her up. Great piece of hitting there by Lexi Blair. Her second straight at-bat, putting one down that first base line.
Carver was in perfect position for that, just unable to scoop it up or even slow it down. Looks like they're going to question whether that was foul or fair or not. It was awfully close, skipped right over the base. Now the umpires are going to discuss it.
And yeah, they're going to confirm the call. In that situation, I don't really think there's any world where you can overturn that.
Yeah. We got a pinch runner, too, from Michigan. Sierra Kirsten coming on up to first base.
Again, Blair with that big brace on the left knee. Doesn't quite have the wheels that she had pre-injury, so the pinch runner coming in. That'll bring up Molina Livingston.
One swing of the bat could end this game right now for the Wolverines. No outs and a runner on first. Kirsten has a stolen base on the season, but I'm not sure if they'd risk it in this with no outs.
First pitch on the way to Livingston as she tries to lay down a bunt and puts it foul.
It worked for Ohio State in the top of the inning to manufacture a run through a bunt with no outs. Michigan trying to replicate that too.
Livingston a sac fly with bases loaded in her last time up to tally Michigan's second run.
Coach Hutchins signaling to both the batter and the base runner. Wonder if it'll be another bunt or maybe a steal.
Livingston puts this one down. It's a beautiful bunt down the first baseline. And the runner will advance.
Almost able to run it out, but beats the run by a step or two as a throw from first baseman Carver over to Noria, who was covering first.
So a textbook bunt from Molina Livingston puts the tying run on second base, and that'll bring up Hannah Carson.
One out here. Any hit to the outfield is likely to score.
You got to think, coming off the bat, Kirsten's going to be thinking two bags.
Most certainly.
First pitch on the way to Carson's hit on a line down the right field line, and that's going to go just foul.
Looked fair, started drifting right after it crossed first base. A little bit too far to the right beyond the right field line.
And following that foul ball, that is going to do it for Lexi Hanley's days. The pitching substitution that we've been mentioning for the past few innings finally will take place.
So Hanley will come out with 6 1/3, 2 runs surrendered and 7 hits given up. It feels like this is a mirror to the top of the 7th inning. We had a leadoff hit, then a bunt to advance the runner, and then a pitching change. If this works out the same for Michigan, they should win this one.
Pitching substitution is number 22, Allison Smith, the sophomore from Champion, Ohio. Again, as you mentioned, events playing out very similarly to the top half of the inning. Michigan has Sierra Kirsten on second base, and it'll be Hannah Carson to step up to the plate with an 0-1 count. Carson, the cleanup hitter, at the plate. Taylor Bump waiting on deck, followed by Ellie Siegler in the hole. If you're just tuning in, we'll give you a quick recap of the inning. Lexi Blair led off the top of the inning with a line drive single down the first base line. Sierra Kirsten came in to pinch run for her. Molina Livingston up next, laid down a nice sack bunt to advance the runner. And then that puts us where we are right now. Hannah Carson with an 0-1 count following the foul ball down the first baseline. Tying run at second, winning run up at the plate. Couple swings of the bat from Carson, and now she'll step in. Corners of the infield playing even with the bags. First pitch on the way from Smith. That one hit hard on the line. That one's going to get through the infield. Kirsten's going to be held up at third base. Great piece of hitting there by Hannah Carson. And now Michigan has runners on the corners, and up to the plate steps Taylor Bump.
This is exactly who you want if you're Michigan. 60 feet away to tie the game. Got the go-ahead runner on first base. Our computer says Bump has had seven
at-bats.
I have a feeling they're combining the at-bats from both McKenzie and Taylor Bump in the system.
First pitch on the way to Bump is a called strike in the outside half. With Sierra Kirsten's wheels on third base, a sac fly would almost assuredly score. Tying run on third, winning run on first. And Taylor Bump's got a job to do here with one strike and one out. Smith's delivery up near her eyes for ball number one. Taylor Bump on her senior day here in Ann Arbor with a chance to do something big. Ellie Siegler looking on deck. The 1-1 pitch on the way from Smith. Missing just outside for ball number two.
Looks like that last pitch might have been some payback for all the missed calls earlier.
Carson with that back left foot on the third base bag, ready to take off whenever needed. Allison Smith delivers 2-1 pitch to Taylor Bump. This one hit high towards center field. That one back hitting the wall. Kirsten's gonna score. Carson rounding third, down all the way home, and that's a walk-off triple for Taylor Bump. On her senior day, Taylor Bump puts a deep fly ball off the outfield wall. A stand-up two-run triple, and the Wolverines walk it off in Ann Arbor.
It looks like that may have been able to clear the fence off the bat, but unnecessary. Hits the wall and takes a fortunate bounce, and Michigan easily able to tag up and scoring from first base as well is Carson.
That ball was absolutely crushed into the wind, still almost cleared the wall in dead center. What a piece of hitting from Taylor Bump. And what a comeback in the bottom of the seventh inning from the Michigan Wolverines. They win this one here in Alumni 4-3 and even out this weekend series at 1 apiece.
That stops Ohio State's win streak at 5 straight games as they play again tomorrow in the final game in Ann Arbor for the Buckeyes this season. These teams might match up in Lansing again. We never know how the draw will be. Tune into WCBN tomorrow. This game will be on WCBN 2 because it's also on ESPNU. And if you want more WCBN coverage right now, go over to WCBN 1 and catch the end of the Ohio State-Michigan baseball game happening just a couple hundred feet away from us right now. At the moment, it is 14-4 in the baseball game.
Taylor Bump stepping up big in the bottom of the seventh inning. A 2-run stand-up triple for the senior. As we mentioned before, Michigan evens out the weekend series at 1 apiece, ends Ohio State's 5-game win streak. And now they head into the final game of this series tomorrow at noon with all the momentum in the world. WCBN will be on that coverage tomorrow morning. It will be myself, alongside Owen Crane. So make sure to tune into that. But what a game it was.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun tomorrow in the rubber match of the series. See who takes control. But with that, I think we'll let you go. Michigan wins 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th with a walk-off triple here from Alumni Field. Thanks for tuning in to WCBN2, and have a good night, and go blue.